Hi, welcome to Healthie's video on adding and managing team members. Healthie enables organizations with multiple providers, clinicians, team members, and assistants to coordinate with each other to provide collaborative care to patients. When setting up your Healthie account, it is important to think through your organization's structure to determine who will need access to Healthie and what they will need access to see and do. There are over 70 settings and permissions that account administrators can set for each member of the organization so that each person has the appropriate amount of access to Healthie. In this video, we'll learn how to add a team member to your organization in Healthie, manage permissions for team members, use permissions templates, and remove a team member from your Healthie account. To add a new member to your organization in Healthie, navigate to your organization page, either via the left side menu or under the gear icon in the upper right corner of your portal, and then select Members. Here you'll see the list of users already a part of your organization in Healthie. To add a team member, click Add Organization Member. First, you'll be prompted to indicate whether you want the user to be a standard seat type or a support seat type. Standard seats are typically used for anyone in your organization that needs to have a patient assigned to them. For example, providers who work with patients should be marked as standard so that they can be assigned to those patients and so that their names appear on the calendar for scheduling. A support seat, on the other hand, encompasses anyone in your organization that needs assistant access to the system. Most commonly, this is someone who schedules, does billing, or is responsible for other administrative work. Someone with a support seat cannot have patients assigned to them, join a care team, or have a calendar on Healthie. However, support users can message patients, view and book sessions for other team members, and conduct coordination activities for the organization. Once you've determined whether this new member is going to have a standard seat or a support seat, you'll be asked to add the member's first name, last name, and email address. Finally, the permissions template field in drop-down menu is optional. We'll discuss permission templates a bit more later in this video. Once ready, click Add Organization Member. When you add a member to your organization, they'll receive an email indicating that they've been added. In that email, they will be able to click on a unique link that will enable them to set a password and access their account based on the permissions you've established. Immediately, you'll be able to share documents, intake forms, and other resources, and message with them within the platform. Once you've gone ahead and added the team member to Healthie, you'll want to make sure to review their permissions. Permissions are distinct from the seat type of a user, in other words, whether they're standard versus support seat. To view and edit permissions, click the three dots next to the team member that you've just added, and select Edit Settings. Then click Permissions. You'll be taken to a page where you see every permission type that you can either enable or disable for this member. The first two options you see are to indicate whether the member is going to be an administrator or not, and whether the member is going to be a provider. Both standard seats and support seats can be designated as administrators. Account administrators can oversee member activity, access organization-wide reports, and optionally have visibility into patient information and activity. Administrators can also set permissions for other team members. Though there is no true limit on the number of administrators you can have, we do recommend limiting the number of administrators within your account. Next, the provider field. When the provider status is enabled for a team member, the member will appear in the list of providers that patients can book with, the list within a patient's profile where a provider can be paired with the patient, the list of providers that a patient payment can be associated with, and on the organization calendar. The remaining permission options are organized into the following categories: organization settings, clients, care team members, appointments and calendar, billing, charting, chat, client activity, faxing, full script, labs, and shared organization resources. If you do not select a permission template when adding the organization member, Default permissions will be set based on the type of seat you selected and whether or not you indicated that the member is a provider. However, you can further adjust these permissions for any particular member. Once you have updated the permissions for a team member, click Save in the top right corner. To save time on applying permissions, you have the option to create and utilize permissions templates. Note that only admin users can select and apply permission templates. When on your members page, which again we can navigate to by either selecting Organization in the left side menu or clicking Organization in the top right corner and then clicking Members, you can locate the Create Permission Template button. You can create as many templates as needed for the different types of people that you have in your organization. For example, you may want to create a provider permission template if you anticipate adding a lot of providers, and then you may also have a separate billing permission template for individuals that are focused on billing. To create a template, simply name it, apply the permissions, and then click Save in the upper right corner. Once you've created a template, you'll be able to access your full list of permission templates by navigating to Organization, Members, and then Permission Templates. Here you also have the option to go back and either edit a template or delete it. Now that our new provider template exists, we can either use it for a new member when we're adding them, or if we want to update the permissions for an existing member, we can do so by navigating back to our members list, clicking Edit Settings on any of our members, navigating to their permissions, and then here we can select to apply template. Now let's discuss removing users. You may need to remove a team member from your Healthie account if they no longer work with your organization. While you cannot fully delete a user account in Healthie, you can inactivate a user, which will serve the same purpose. To set a member as inactive, navigate to your members list, click the three dots all the way to the right, and select Edit Settings. Here you'll see the option to set as inactive. When you set a user as inactive, that person will no longer be able to log in, which means that they cannot access patient information. If that member was a provider, they will no longer appear on the organization calendar. When you set a user as inactive, you will be prompted to reassign any of their patients that are associated with them to a different provider on your team. Appointments will be rescheduled with the newly assigned provider, and patients will not be able to book with a provider who has been set as inactive. Intake forms, charting templates, programs, and other materials that the provider created will have the same visibility as when the provider was active. This means that if you were able to see intake forms and charting templates from this provider, you will continue to be able to do so. Note that any unfinished charting notes by the inactive team member will remain that way. If possible, we recommend reviewing chart notes before the team member leaves. If not, another team member may have to access to review and finish, lock, or assign the charting notes. Once they are set as inactive, you can come in here and set them as active again at any time. For more on managing group practices within Healthie, please see our tutorial video, Collaboration Features for Multi-Provider Teams.